Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And in this video, I'm going to show you some of the things that I've done to this already. And we're going to try to make flares. As soon as I find the old one, we're going to try to make these out of aluminum. Well, we're not going to try. We're going to. You know Bison's going to do it, right? But this is what we're going to try to do. And then I'm going to try to, I'll probably just paint Moto 4 on the back of it in black. And but before we get started on that, don't forget to have your Trump coffee. And I'll show you what we've got so far. Now, I've made some changes to the dash simply because this one that I got, it clearly states on the directions and the wire diagram that the red is positive and the black is ground. Well, as soon as I hooked it up, and remember, we've already hooked one of these up to my Big Bear, so we know that I know what I'm doing because this one works just fine. So when I hooked it up, this needle buried up to 1400 RPMs and stuck there. And I think it's a defective speedometer. So I'm having a hard time dealing with the guy that I got it from. He claims that he tests every single one of them that he ships out, which I know is a bald-faced lie, but oh well. So rather than to mess with him, since I already had a speedometer cable or mechanical speedometer cable, and the speedometer on that one was just fine, the only thing that was wrong with this speedometer is this knob was missing. But I found one on a mileage meter, because it had a mileage meter on it, and I just broke it apart because I couldn't get the thing off. Come to find out, it had a screw in the end of it. But anyway, so we just went ahead and did this, and then I made a panel to go around it on the 3D printer, and it says Yamaha on the front, and we're going to paint that white or maybe a tan. And we got everything wired up, and the reverse light will show you. Neutral light is on. Now I'm going to put it in reverse. There's reverse. And then this one's the oil light. So all the switches work. This one is for reverse light. This one is for the tail light. And we got our sticker in today for both sides. So we've got that on. We're still waiting on the bearing for the rear end. And I think that looks good. I painted the tank black and decided that with that sticker, that's going to look fine. Plus, the seat's going to have black on the sides, and it's going to have a camouflage strip in the middle from here to here, going straight down the middle, all the way back to the corners. And I think it's going to look good once I get the seat done. I mean, it looks good now. And so everything is done except for the rear end, the oil cooler. And I'll show you what I plan to do with that oil cooler. Is I'm going to hook these PC fans up to it. Now, I'm not going to use this one because it's got 3 wires. I've got one in there that's got 2 wires on it, 12 volt fans. And we're just going to use this cooler, and then on the aluminum bracket, I'm going to cut a hole this size in it to open that up. And then on the aluminum, we're going to mount these fans to it. And this ought to help it cool. If it doesn't, then my next plan of attack is to buy 2 of these and daisy chain them. You know, put both of them together. Have another one that these bolts are on the opposite side of this. Then we'll run a hose from this one to this one, and then we'll have our inlet and outlet. So that's if this doesn't cool it enough because it's so small. I would imagine it's probably going to work just fine, but I have to have a backup plan just in case it doesn't. So that's our plan for the oil cooler. I'm just waiting on a tap because I got to make a fitting that's the same size as this, which is a 10 millimeter by 125. And wouldn't you know, I have a 10 millimeter 1.0 and I have a 10 millimeter 1.50, but not a 25 or 125. Figures. They always keep the one that's most used out of the damn set. So I got every one of them except for that one. Except for the main ones. So that's the plan for that. So right now, we're gonna work on cutting, well, basically what I've done, this is a street sign that the construction crew gave me, and I guess because they didn't want to mess with it. And because the aluminum side, we have the aluminum side, and then the underside has a white coating on it. So that'll get painted white. But anyway, it can be reversible too, to be honest with you. You could put the white side and paint it black and it'll give it a texture. Or we can do the aluminum and just sand it down. Who knows, maybe we'll paint it. I don't know. I hate painting aluminum. So, because I want the aluminum side to show, I mounted or set that on there and clamped it down with these boards right there and there to get it as flat as possible. And then I drew this line to cut it out. So now all I have to do once I cut this out is drill my holes, but I'm not going to drill them until I get it formed and up there. And if I have to remark them because they don't line up right, because this is flexible, this is not. They may not line up. So the holes will be the last thing we do. So we're going to get set up here and we're going to cut this out. And I've got it set so on the rack here so that, well, I got to pull it this way just a little bit more so I don't cut this blanket. So we'll get set up here and we'll cut these out. And there's our first one. So I'll go ahead and cut the other one and file these down nice and smooth around, and we'll be back. Alright, so now we've got both sides cut. We have a left and a right. And that's them. Now I got to take the grinder and just feather them edges and chamfer them and stuff. That's all I got to do. So we'll just take one of them sanding discs and we'll grind it and smooth it out. Alright, now we've got them cut and there are no sharp edges, so I'm not going to get cut or a metal splinter. So now we're going to sand it. And we may go ahead and paint these, but they're going to be strong, they're not going to rot, they're not going to break. If these get broke, he's definitely riding it wrong. So let me get set up here and get my sander and we'll go ahead and sand these. Alright guys, I've got the left and the right cut and I was sanding on it and my sander quit working on me. I don't know what's going on with it, but for some reason my DA sander keeps locking up on me. So I'm going to have to take this thing apart and find out what's going on, why it's locking up. So I've had that thing for 20 years. About time for a new one. And I might just go ahead and buy me a new one because that hasn't been around for a long time. So now we need to figure out how we're going to bend it. And it just so happens we have a hole in both of them, man. Daggone it, I didn't see that. I just noticed that. We got a hole in both of them. Damn it. Oh well, we'll find something to mount to it and make it look like we meant that hole to be there. Alright, let me move this out of the way. Still waiting on my seat cover. I did get 2 new tires for it. Got them on today. Got them today and put them on today. So now it's got new tread all the way around it. New shoes. So, like I said, we're still waiting on a bearing. Alright, so this one here is for this side. So, what we want to do is we want to get the original one and put on there. And this will tell us where we need to bend. So, looks to me like from corner to corner here, we need to bend. So we're just going to take that and set it right there and hope this stuff bends okay. It ain't the easiest in the world to bend. And this is probably not strong enough to be doing this on. Alright, now we need to bend it right here. Let's see. Need to bend it right across that mark right there. And we need to bend that one a little bit more. This stuff's not the easiest stuff in the world to bend either. Alright, we're getting there. We're getting close. So, let's see here. Need to bend just a little bit right there. And there we have it. We have a fender. So now I have to do the same thing to the other side. And we'll probably just paint these, but that was that simple. So we'll bend the other side the same way and then we'll be back. Alright guys, we got them mounted. And I think that looks pretty decent. We're going to paint them black because right there is the original. And the only reason they're a different size is because part of it's underneath the fender when I laid it like that. So they look just like the originals. And we had to do something different on this side because of the muffler sticking out like it is, because on the original muffler it didn't stick out like that and that went all the way down. So we just cut us a round spot there to rest right there, and I think they turned out pretty nice. Now I used 1/4 bolts with 7/16 heads, but these are going to change. The washer and the bolts are going to change. I'm going to get smaller washers and round-headed screws to put on here. And that's just there for temporary. But there they are. I hope you guys learned something out of this. If you need mud flaps for your Big Bear, you can do the same thing to the front. I can make those right there out of aluminum, that black part. But I didn't feel like doing all that bending. This was bad enough. This is a long straight piece, so it was easier to bend than them little short bends. So, but that's the fenders. Sorry, jumping you guys around. We're going to paint those black unless my son says to leave them that way. I can't imagine him saying leaving it that way. We're probably just going to go ahead and paint them black so that it matches the tank and the wheels, because the wheels are black. Now he may want to go and buy him a set of aluminum wheels, but these here is what he's getting from me. I've already got too much in this thing, and if I was to put aluminum wheels on this for him like I did mine, so I went and got these wheels for mine, and it took me a long time to get them, and it'll do the same for him. You know, it'll take him a while to build up enough to get him some aluminum wheels, and this thing will really be set up nice. So that's my son's 350 Moto 4. That sticker looks badass, don't it? And it's accurate. 2x4 Big Bear 350. And then once we get the fenders painted black, then I'll paint across the back of it in white letters or beige, probably the same color as what I'm going to paint this Yamaha. And I think that'll look okay. So now I just got to get all the parts for the rear end. I'm a little leery on that bearing I bought because I don't know nothing about this company. I don't know how to get back to his website to find out. So I'll figure it out. But right now he's lost. For some reason, it went back to my search page, and I don't remember making an account. So hopefully I can get to it through the email I got confirming the order. So I want to know where it's at. And usually they send you an email letting you know that it's been shipped. I haven't got one yet, so it's probably going to take forever to get them. So anyway, oil cooler in the rear end is about all that's left. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks for stopping by, guys. You guys have a good one. Later.